Hello, everyone, and welcome. Do you like the future? Do you like AR metaverses? Well, you're in luck today. Over the reality, the future of AR metaverse is here. Welcome to So You Want a Crypto. Today I'm going to talk about Over the Reality and their new Map2Earn feature mostly. We're going to dig into some of the nerdy tech stuff on it. I'll put some timestamps below. If you want to skip ahead, I don't blame you. But if you want a little deeper insight, stick around. I'll be quick and try to just give you the most value for your time. I'll look at the marketplace real quick. We'll talk about a couple of different places that are really popular where I found a couple lands if anybody's interested, and just a quick look at some of the mapping in the marketplace over app. With that being said, let's do it. Over on CoinGecko, we have 0.2259, so 22.5 cents roughly for over right now, ranked number 913. Market cap's about $11.5 million. Circulating supply is listed at 51.2 million tokens with a max supply of about 89.9. So, there's still some to be released, but even at the value right now, if you were to just say, hey, half are out, so we would drop this in half. If like all the tokens went today, it'd be at 11 cents per token, right? At the max, if you could just get back to like $3, you would be looking at a pretty good gain on that. Half of that would be 150, so from 11 cents to 150, couple X right there, Just throwing that out there, but I don't see that happening. I think it'll be dropped over time and not just thrown on you. Anyway, not a bad coin to look at, or token to look at. So you can go and get Map2Earn. They just came out with the sign up today, Over the Reality on Twitter right here. But applications to map the world in 3D and earn over tokens are now open. The link right here. Here you go, map the world in 3D with their Map2Earn program. So I've been mapping a little bit, and I did it with the old standard and then the new standard, and it takes a little bit of time to map, but it looks like they're going to be given some bounties. So they don't want to map your backyard, they don't want to map your street, or unless you live on a really cool busy street. But basically what it is going to be a Google Street View set of maps for all sorts of popular landmarks, locations. Think foot traffic kind of thing like that. So then they can render those, and then you could actually see them remotely through point cloud and Gaussian splats and NeRFs and stuff like that. All right. If you want to know any of the other, I've made, 25 videos now on Over the Reality and other AR platforms, and, some of the projects I've worked on, some of the games, some of the tokenomics, how to buy, what you can do, how to play stuff in AR contests. If you want to check any of those out, go ahead. And if you have any questions, comment below. And you can always find me with Metaverse Mints Thursdays right now, 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitter or X, Twix, whatever you want to call it. Look for So Crypto, Hollywoodland, or Metaverse Mints. And come ask questions there. We'll talk to you. Especially about Over. That's what it's all about there. Mints, he's an Over guy. All right, looking at the Over the Reality 2023 roadmap, we have multiple layers. The platform is built upon 3 base layers. The ownership layer. To create Over, we divided the world into 300. Those are the hexagons. Those are when you're buying the OVRlands. That's your ownership level. So those are the ERC 721 NFTs on Matic that you can buy. You can get those. They're basically, I think the floor is 10. Depending on the popularity of the area, they may be more. You can initiate a 24-hour auction for the price, or you can pay extra. I think it's double if you want to just close it out and own it now and skip the 24-hour waiting period, because you can get outbid and then have to raise the bid. And I think each bid is double. So if it's 10, then you go to 20, but I'm not sure on the bidding process. Anyway, so that's your ownership level. And then your mapping layer, that's the augmented and physical world, means connecting 3D assets to geographical locations. So they're going to use the maps that you create for a mapping layer. Now, if you're creating these and you're doing it for the bounty, you're basically making it and then taking that and selling it to over the reality. You could map it again for your own, but you wouldn't get the bounty at that point. You would just have a map. But the initial bounty, it looks like, will go to over. They'll own that map. So if you're mapping, let's say Times Square or Central Park or something like that, then they'll be able to use that maybe for commercializing it. And then you have the builder layer. Over currently has two main protocols to upload 3D assets into the physical world. A simple drag and drop, no coding web builder. Their SDK is really good. If you're not familiar with how to make this stuff work, it is pretty drag and drop. You can hook it up to Sketchfab. They have some assets already in there you can play with. And then the other one is through Unity. So here's the roadmap. They have the headline features, creator tools, technical innovations. Here's the headline features. Smart glasses integration. Now, if we look back at this blip right here in May, that was when they started. That was the Apple release when they started talking about apples and the goggles and the pass-through technology. It gave this a pretty good pump there for a second with all the hype. Interoperability. Many believe the metaverse will not be a mainstream concern until we've hacked or cracked into the interoperability problems, right? However, while others puzzle over the solution, Over has already published standards to create wearable and controllable NFTs that work by default on our platform. And then they've collaborated with the Sandbox to make user assets available on Over, and this year we're expanding interoperability with linked wearables, aiming for compatibility with non-native NFTs and assets. They also have the Overgate console live events, which kind of looked at but haven't really messed with. Maybe we'll dig into that later. Local and remote experiences, you can do geospatially located, and then you can view them remotely, browser access. AI avatars, this is one I want to touch. This is one of the things I've been waiting on since December 2020 when we first heard about this project. Since the launch of ChatGPT, the public has become aware of the capabilities of large language models. Now imagine these large language model system, or imagine a system, open source applied to avatars. So basically the whole AI avatar thing that we've been talking about for quite some time says they are coming in 2023. Well, it's November, so I'm thinking it's going to be hopefully soon. And then the DAO. Creator tools, the web builder, the Unity SDK, live editor, light mapping, AI 3D asset generation. In 2023, we'll democratize the creation of 3D assets. Users will be able to speak 3D assets into existence thanks to state-of-the-art text-to-mesh algorithms. That sounds pretty cool. NFT games, collaborative AR. Persistence will be persistent to the Over platform, meaning the AR experiences created by users will become like virtual time capsules, maintaining a memory of past interactions. Some templates, creator directory. And then the technical innovations, Map2Earn. That's probably what we're mostly here to talk about today. And then users can map physical world, precisely anchor content, and then generate a NeRF fly-through simulation of the map location. And I think they've moved to the Gaussian splats now. 3D point cloud. An overmap NFT comprises three main assets. So the 3D point cloud, the visual manifestation of the map to location. Today, the point cloud is only usable in the Unity SDK. We will integrate it into the web builder, their SDK, making precise editing and relocalization accessible to everyone. We will also integrate a point cloud viewer inside the marketplace and the app, so it will be possible to explore point clouds without the need to install additional software. Digital fly-through, the immersive NeRF video simulation, and then a relocalization parameters, the coordinates to relocalize you in a space. Relocalization is fully operational on the Over platform with an average accuracy of 20 centimeters and 5 degrees. This year we'll make improvements to the system and introduce new AI algorithms with increased accuracy and resilience. And then it's in-app purchase of NFT assets, staking 3.0, play to earn. The treasure hunt mechanic was one of the first vertical use cases we built on Over. Adoption was impressive with over 1.6 million physical locations featured. There are two main innovations AI-powered system that processes multiple data sources to combat cheating, and the aforementioned software as a service, making it possible to create your own treasure hunt with an easy-to-use interface to guide creators. You'll also be able to create treasure hunts on OVRlands you do not own by paying a fixed fee to the owners who grant permission to use this property. IPFS hosting. I'm not going to dig in these too deep. We're going to go into the mapping. So right now, if you go to over the marketplace on over.ai, you'll see the different mappings here. So you got quite a bit in Europe, a couple thousand over here in the US. But these are all the different people that are out there mapping. These are some of the newest maps. So this is what they're talking about. You'll get, this is your coverage and accuracy scores, median. You'll get a fly through, so let's pick one here. So here you go, here's the fly through. And then if you click in, you can get a point cloud as well. And that'd be right here. And all of your maps will show up, like here's my maps. And I have all of this for my, saved in my wallet. Here's your leaders for the mapping right now. So right now there's only been 20,000 total maps. Total users, 1,260. So this is pretty new. You're getting in early. If you're watching this, you want to get in, you got a great chance of this. So these are total all-time mapping, ranked, right? So 783, that's the most maps by one person total so far. But on this, we talked about that you can sell your maps. So that's one reason to map. The other one is each month, if you've done at least 10 maps, you get entered into a prize pool contest verified through Chainlink that, so right here, this is this month. So 9 maps, 8 maps, 5. So you can get in with this every month. It starts over. And as long as you get 10, you get entered and you could win 1,000. So 10 people will get 1,000 over tokens. So that's on top of. And then I believe there's going to be other incentives as well. So there's a good chance you can earn, a little over here and there. And then that over we talked about could grow exponentially. So not financial advice, but if you're looking to just find a way to generate a little crypto for rolling into this bull market, this is a good way to do it. All right, so let's do some quick nerdy stuff. A comparative look at photogrammetry, NeRF, and Gaussian splatting. Photogrammetry is one of the oldest and most reliable techniques for 3D reconstruction. It involves capturing a series of photographs from different angles and using them to create a 3D model. You need to catch every angle. So within NeRFs and Gaussian splatting and stuff like that, you'll be able to predict. So there's a little bit of a prediction. You don't have to have every angle. With photogrammetry, if you want it, you need to have a picture underneath, on the top, all the way around. And that's how you get that. And then some of the pros: highly accurate, accessible, and cost effective. Cons: photogrammetry is not without its limits. It requires a controlled environment, can be time consuming, especially when dealing with complex structures. Something else I'd like to add to this: with photogrammetry, you're going to get polygons that you can map and get metric data. You can find like volume, space, whatever you're not going to get that with NeRF. So you're not going to be able to have a measurable metric with the model. Not like you will with photogrammetry. So neural radiance fields, or NeRFs, is a more recent entrant to the field of 3D reconstruction. Unlike photogrammetry, which relies on traditional imaging techniques, NeRFs employ machine learning algorithms to create a 3D model from a set of two-dimensional images. The technology is particularly exciting because it allows for the generation of highly detailed and realistic models without requiring specialized hardware. NeRF's strength lies in its ability to handle complex geometries and lighting conditions, offering a level of detail that is often hard to achieve with other methods. On the flip side, the technology is computationally intensive, often requiring powerful hardware. It takes a minute to process some of this. And you'll notice that too when you're making maps with Over. You take the map, and then you'll have a file, which is all the pictures and the information that you're going to upload. And it can take quite a little bit of time to upload that through the app. And then there'll be another long extended period of time, and then you'll receive the processed map back from Over. So when you're uploading and doing all this, there's a couple delays along the way, just so you know. Gaussian splatting is perhaps the least known among these three technologies, but it is no less fascinating. It's a rendering technique that uses Gaussian functions to blend and smooth out the visual elements in a 3D model. This method is particularly useful for creating more natural and fluid transitions between different parts of a model, making it ideal for applications that require high levels of realism. One of the standout features of the Gaussian splatting is its ability to produce incredibly smooth and realistic textures. This makes it highly suitable for applications where visual fidelity is paramount. However, like NeRF, Gaussian splatting is computationally demanding and may require specialized hardware. So we talked about photogrammetry. So what is a polygon in 3D modeling? And basically you have your vertex, your edge, and your face. And each of those is used to create a measurable space in there. So when you have a high poly, low poly. So high poly is a mesh that was created with extreme detail and usually no regard for the final poly count. Often high poly models aren't designed with polygons at all. Typically they're sculpted, voxel-based, 3D methods. Then you create a low poly, which is lighter, easier to bring into a scene or something like that. And to do that, you use retopology, and that's changing how these vertices or these polygons are arranged and subdivided and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to go too deep into that, but all of these are basically differential rendering. And I don't want to go too deep, but when they're talking about all these different math, I'll put these links in the description below. But it talks about a point cloud. Point clouds are the collections of points that represent shapes in a 3D space. They are ubiquitous in the 3D vision community due to their ability to represent a large variety of topologies at a relatively low storage cost. Moreover, most of the 3D sensors that are nowadays available on the market also rely on point clouds for encoding data. There's a lot of really good information in here about rendering and mesh and whatnot. So what is the difference between NeRF and Gaussian splatting technology? NeRF's neural radiance field, novel technique that uses deep learning to model 3D scenes from 2D images or image collections, and it can predict. Like if you take a picture of most of this, it can predict what would be in the areas that you didn't. It represents a scene of a continuous 3D function that predicts the color and opacity of a point in space. NeRFs aim to capture complex 3D scenes by training neural networks to learn the underlying scene representation for multiple two-dimensional images, allowing for the synthesis of novel views. That's the new views, or the ones you didn't actually take a picture of, like you would have to in photogrammetry. It has gained popularity for its ability to generate high-quality 3D reconstructions and novel views again. So Gaussian splatting is a traditional computer graphics technique used for volume rendering and point-based rendering. It involves projecting 3D data, often represented as points with attributes, onto a two-dimensional plane. Each point in 3D space is splat or projected onto the two-dimensional image plane using Gaussian distribution, creating a smooth contribution to the image pixel values. Gaussian splatting is typically used for rendering volumetric data such as medical scans, particle simulation. Differential volume rendering using Gaussian eploids for analysis by synthesis. Anyway, Gaussian reconstruction kernels have been proposed by this. This is another one of these studies that you can go in and look at, but I like it right here because gives an alternate representation of object 3D geometry from meshes and point clouds. On the other hand, current state-of-the-art differential renderers use rasterization to collect triangles or points on each image pixel and blend them based on the viewing distance. Vogue it's a software for making Gaussian reconstruction. Utilizes the volumetric Gaussian reconstruction kernels as geometric primitives. The Vogue rendering pipeline uses ray tracing to capture the nearest primitives and blends them as mixtures based on their volume density distributions along the rays. Splat, right? That's the splat. In big words, Gaussian distribution is just a math formula. We have a function, right? Differential equation. So this calculation is designed for the evaluation of the mean value and standard deviation, and to calculate the value of the distribution function if the value of x is, this is basically that splat function. in a mathematical formula. The binomial distribution function that they reference in there specifies the number of times that that an event occurs in independent trials, n being the number of trials, where p is the probability of the event occurring in a single trial. It is an exact probability distribution for any number of discrete trials. If n is very large, it may be treated as a continuous function, and this yields the Gaussian distribution. If x is really small, then that function has significant value only for very small x. Then the function can be approximated by using the Poisson distribution here, which I imagine, I don't know the application of this into the image rendering, but maybe if you have an image that's really close, or for a higher resolution, maybe, not really sure. But anyway, moving on. 3D digital assets can now be minted and sold on the OVR marketplace. This was in January. Just throwing out some news now. Okay, so some lands. You want to check out some highly sought after lands. This is Dubai. Dubai, every single inch of this place almost has been bought up. So if you look at the little Starship Enterprise or whatever mousy puck looking thing here, that's the Dubai Opera House. And then right over here where the road comes through, there's actually still a couple on the walkway, which is a pretty high traffic area. So these are probably maybe locations that I would consider. This last price, 1,000. A lot of these that have price tags on them right here. This is the one right here by the Opera House for sale for 1,000 over. Let's see what we got. This one also for sale, 250 over. So they're going for more, and let's see what these are actually selling for on the platform. So if you wanted to buy this, you would start at auction, and it looks like it's up to 300. Holy cow. So maybe not the biggest bargain, but there are some other ones in this area. Dubai, all of these are just completely getting bought up all around the Burj Khalifa and stuff like that. So I would look through here maybe. And then also Southern California, Santa Monica Pier. There's a good row on the backside of the parking lot. Some of the walking areas along the beach, some more high traffic areas. And you can find this if you go down the beach. There's some in Venice and a few others along the way. So a lot of these are getting bought up. You can see right here that it's getting popular. So there's been so far 872,000 lands that have been sold. Spent on auctions 6.9, almost 7 million over. And then right now 7 NFTs a day. I guess that's about 7 lands a day that are buying 22 cent over, like we talked about. So that's going to be the Map2Earn, like a look at it. We can go into the app if you want, comment below, and I can show you more about mapping and some of the things that I've learned, like how to map to get better maps. I'm not the best mapper, and I still have a lot to learn, but if you want to get into that, or you just want to talk to somebody about mapping, come by Twitter Thursday 3 p.m. Pacific, Metaverse Mints or Soyo Crypto. I hang out on his space. We chat this, and there's a lot of other overusers that are there. So I'll give you a chance live right now to come chat. All right. That's all I got. Cheers.